What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and I know it's been a little while since I posted, but I've got some decks that I'm building, that you are going to get to see, and it's going to be interesting. And just for now, until those decks get done, this is something that y'all can see. It's an updated Monarch deck. Ban list did not give us back Pantheism, sadly, but we have another one coming up pretty soon, so maybe cross your fingers. Of course, this is a domain Monarch. It's slightly changed from my last profile, so that's something to keep in mind. And it's also a slightly more, maybe I should say like stun kind of thing. Maybe I really don't know. But I also have an idea for a series. I was thinking about doing a sealed only series. And if y'all want to see that, let me know, and I'll get straight to it, because I have a deck in mind that I want to do for it if y'all want to see it, and if not, don't even worry about saying anything about it. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this deck profile, shall we? Starting us off is Triple Aether. Let me center that a little bit more. Triple Aether. Not much to explain here since I've already had a video up about this deck, but basically this card is pretty much like one of the cards that you like to see in your opening hand, because she has her effect on your opponent's turn, and then if you have a Stormforth, that's just a whole nother thing of interruption there. And yeah, that's basically it. Also, opening up this alone, like for a tribute summon, isn't bad, because you can tribute summon her, then use her effect to bring another one of her out. So I mean, and then that one goes back to your hand, so honestly, it's not too bad if you just open up her as a tribute summon only. So, of course, we're playing the Triple Erebus. I almost thought about knocking this down to 2, but it's fine at 3. 2, I don't know. I tried it at 2 a little bit. I didn't really like it that much, so I kept it at 3. Shuffle stuff back, and recurse some stuff from the grave, which is kind of nice. So it's pretty good at 3, honestly. I kept in Tesselos, or however you say his name. Really good Monarch. I like him because it gives you information on what's in your opponent's hand, and it can also burn for time, so that's also something to keep in mind. Because if you're going into those late games of time, which might not happen as often as you think, but if it does, you can end up burning for time. I mean, I'm not like too happy about it whenever I do that, but I mean, a win is a win. So our next Monarch is Kiraz. You're never really going to be tribute summoning Kiraz, but you're just going to be summoning him off Aether's effect. If you open him up and tribute summon, and you have to tribute summon him, I mean, it's fine, it's whatever, honestly. But running him at 1 keeps you from drawing, well, not drawing him, you can still draw him. It just lowers your chances of drawing him, so. But yeah, that's it for our Monarchs that you tribute summon for. Next is 2 Vanities and 1 Majesty. I changed this from my last list to where I was running 2 Majesty and 1 Vanities. Majesty's searchable, so I mean, I think Majesty's a little bit better right now than Vanities. Now, I can understand where some people are like, well, all they have to do is summon something big enough to hit over your Majesty. While yes, that's true, it just shuts off so much rather than just no special summoning. I mean, if you activate Domain and you have a Majesty Fiend, it's pretty good right there. And if you're lucky enough to have also an Erupt, it's pretty hard to get around. No monster effects in anywhere, no monster effects on field, and no special summoning from the extra deck. That's pretty hard to get around. But anyways, let's just go ahead and move on. Tribute fodder, basically, or tiny Monarchs, I guess I should say. Triple Adia and Triple Eidos. I took out Mithra because I just wanted to run more stuff, like more traps and stuff, so I decided to make some room, taking out the 1 Mithra, because if you drew it, you drew it, and if you didn't, you didn't. A lot of times whenever I was drawing it, I already had like an Adia or an Aether, or not Aether, an Adia or an Eidos in hand, and it just really didn't matter all that much. Or I'd be drawing it late game, and it just would not help me at all. So I just took it out, this is fine. You know, Adia gets your Eidos. Eidos gives you another. Well, I wouldn't say normal summon. It allows you to tribute summon in addition to normal. But anyways, it also Eidos also allows you to special Adia from the grave. You know, it just works. It works. Spells. Starting us off is Domain, of course. We're playing Domain Monarchs, so of course we're going to be playing triple Domain. I mean, why would you not? And then our best spell in the deck, I'd give it to this card. Tenacity. Tenacity is our best spell card in the deck, even though, you know, we still have Pantheism. Pantheism's at 1. So right now, this card is the best card, spell-wise, in the deck, because it can add your Pantheism, and it can just add any other Monarch spell or trap as long as you have something to reveal. So I feel like that's just better than just one Pantheism in a deck. So this is definitely your best spell in the deck. So that's just something to keep in mind. You're technically playing 4 Pantheism if you think about it with Tenacity. So next is triple Stormforth. Let me get that a little bit more in the center. Triple Stormforth. This card is just really good, you know, for interruption on your opponent's turn, for the Aether effect, and sometimes it's even good just to draw on your turn if they cleared your board and you have a monster that you want to summon and you just have nothing to tribute away. You draw it, and then you can just get rid of one of your opponent's monsters for one of your monsters. So it just works. I should get that on a shirt. It just works. All right. Anyways, double return. I've seen some people run this at 1, and I've even seen very few, but I have seen it. People running this at 3. I feel like 1 is not enough, but I feel like 3 is too much. So I feel like 2 is just right there in the middle of being just the perfect ratio. Just because you want to see it, but you don't want to see it at the same time. So that's just, it's kind of like a double-edged sword, I guess. Because like once you see it the first time, you really don't need it the second time. So unless you're going into like super late ground games. Plus, it's just another card to send off of your bigger Monarchs effects. You know, to summon something or shuffle something. 1 Pantheism. You know, we didn't get this back in any kind of way, so yeah, nothing more to say about that card. It just says draw 2. Next is 1 March. I actually thought about taking out March, and then I decided not to. March is good, but it's also bad, because sometimes it's just a straight up rig. It does nothing for you in your hand sometimes, and that can be a problem. But a lot of times, if you're going first, it's usually going to be live, because you can end on like that plus one of your traps, your Monarch, and your field spell. That alone's pretty good, because then it's going to make it harder for them to get around it, especially if it's like the monster on the field is Majesty Fiend or Vanity's Fiend, because then it makes it even harder for them to like get around those cards, and that's just really nice because it establishes your lock a little bit better. So I like it at 1. I just like the card in general. It's not bad, it's not good, but it's kind of like one of those cards that just help. Starting off our traps is Triple Strike. Probably would replace this for Judgment, but I don't have any Judgments. So Triple Strike, just, you know, negating some stuff, pretty nice. But if you have Judgments, I would probably put in Judgments over this, just because Judgment can stop a little bit more than Strike can. Next is triple There Can Only Be One. I was actually thinking about this card quite a few times, and after looking through the deck, there's very few cards that just actually become a problem with this card activated on the field. About your biggest problem is like Curaz and Adia and Prime, which I think is a fairy, while also Aether is a fairy. That's about the only issues I've found within it. As far as I know, everything else is just pretty much different. So this card doesn't really inflict you to being like stuck in anything. So I mean, that's pretty good. I think the card's fine in the deck. It's just a floodgate that's really nice. Sometimes it can just win you games straight up. Another card that I decided to play was 2 Summon Limit. This card can be good, but it can also be bad for you. Only had it really conflict once with me, to where I actually needed to summon more than twice. Other times I just really didn't need to, because once you get your advantage on the board and you just have everything you need, the Summon Limit just doesn't really become much of a problem to you, unlike it would to your opponent. And this can just slow down the game so much, especially if you just open up this and the there can only be one. You probably got the game sealed up right there. Monarch Traps, 2 Prime. Pretty standard, actually. This didn't change from my last build. I just kind of felt like it was fine at 2. Didn't really feel like it needed to be at 1 or 3. And then the 1 Erupt. A lot of people are probably going to be like, why aren't you running like 2 or 3 of this card? You can just search it off Tenacity, really. And I'm running other Floodgates, so I didn't want to go too heavy on Floodgates, but at the same time I wanted to at least sneak in an Erupt there. So Erupt's good, because if you, like I said, if you set up Erupt, a Majesty Fiend, and Domain, it's kind of hard to get around sometimes. So, but I mean, it's searchable. That's about the biggest argument I can make right there. It's just a searchable Floodgate, and you run 3 Tenacity. So, but yeah, that is my Monarch deck. I hope you guys liked it. Don't forget to hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell. See you guys in the next one.